So cosine law is right up here as well, okay? These are all going to stay here. So sine law and cosine law, you're going to, as soon as you see that it's not a right angle triangle, as soon as you see that it is not a right angle triangle, you're going to go to sine law and cosine law. You're always going to try cosine or sine law first because sine law is the easiest of the two. And if you don't have enough information to do sine law, then you go to cosine law, okay? Or cosine law. You need two side lengths and a contained angle, or all three side lengths. Okay? Two side lengths and a contained angle. So what that means is I have these two side lengths and the angle in between them, or all three sides. These will always be up here, these posters, okay? Now, there's two separate equations. If I have two side lengths and the contained angle, then I'm going to use c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cos c. You use this to solve for a side length. Okay, you use that one to solve for a side length. When you have all three sides, the equation is cos c equals a squared plus b squared minus c squared all over 2ab. This is used to solve for an angle. This is one of those cases that I don't care what it's labeled. I'm always going to relabel it based on my equation. Okay? I don't care if it's already A, B, C. I'm going to relabel it. Okay? So, prime example. This equation, determine the length of the indicated side. So, they're telling me they want side length B. But my equation is set up for what side length? C. So I'm going to say, well, this is it. I'm going to just label that C. And then I'm going to label this A and this B. B and A, it doesn't matter. You could, if you wanted the left side to be B and the right side to be A, you can do it. But what I'm saying is, if it's telling me I want to calculate C, I'm going to relabel that. Because now I know that this is angle C, this is, and that's all I really need, so that's fine. So now I write my equation. C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cos C. Okay, the equation is right here. If I relabel the triangle, it is foolproof because I already know what I'm plugging in here. Okay, I know I'm calculating C squared. I know A is 5.5, so that becomes 5.5 squared. I know B is 8.2 squared minus 2 times 5. I'm going to run this through. I need to take this over. Sorry. My handwriting just does not get that small. So C squared is equal to 5.5 squared plus 8.2 squared minus 2 times 5.5 times 8.2. And I still ran out of space, cos 108. Now, the nice thing about these graphing calculators is I can plug this in one step using brackets. Okay? So on my graphing calculator, I'm going to say 5.5 to the exponent 2 plus 8.2 to the exponent 2 minus 2 bracket 5.5 bracket. Open another bracket, 8.2, close that bracket, and then cos 108. And I get an answer of 125.363, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now, you got to be careful though. I don't want to switch colors here. You still have to take the square root. Thanks, Circle. Yeah, so 125.363 repeated. So now that's C squared, so you still need to take the square root. Okay, so just don't forget that point. A lot of people give me the answer, and then it's like they've done so much work, they forget to give me the final answer. So the final answer is actually to the nearest unit, so it's actually 11 centimeters. Okay? The hardest thing with sine law and cosine law is identifying which one to use. Okay? So that's what I said. Do sine law first. See if it works. If it doesn't work, then go to cosine law. Okay? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Okay. I can print this one for you.
I have it from my...
11. Okay. Next. Okay, so Herschel was a little, not concerned, but you were saying what happens with the diagram. So I'll go a little slower with how I draw the diagram, okay?
Sit there.
Jagger, you're fading, huh? We all wish we could sleep, but we can't. So let's just hold it together for 2 more slides. Okay. Now, first things first. So this tells me I have triangle ABC. A is 21 millimeters, B is 31 degrees, and C is 27. So really, this one's like, they're not giving me an angle that's any bigger, right? So I'm just going to sort of estimate here. I'm going to say I have a triangle. So this is when my triangles never really look the greatest. So I'm going to say my triangle looks like this. I'm going to say that this one's 31 degrees. So I'm going to label that B. I'm going to say that, okay, so A, B, C, I don't know, 27 millimeters. And A is 21 millimeters. Okay, really all I did here is I saw basically in that I knew that 27 was my longest length so far, so I put it across from the biggest angle in my diagram. Okay, because the longest length side is always across from the biggest angle, because the angle opens up to that side length. Okay, again, as long as it's a triangle, it's not a right angle triangle when it shouldn't be, as long as things are labeled properly, I'm fine with it, okay? Because what am I going to end up doing right now? I'm going to rename all of these sides to fit my equation. So, we're drawing the diagram. Now they want us to find length B. So they want us to find length B right now. Okay? Now, what is my equation set up for? What side length to find? It won't be sine law. This is cosine law because I have 2 sides and the contained angle. 2 sides and the contained angle. So what letter is this set up for? C. So I'm going to say, okay, forget B. I'm going to rename this C. And I'm going to say that this is A and this is B. Okay? The only reason I'm relabeling it is because I know the side length I'm looking for, my equation is set up for C. So instead of getting confused with letters, if I just rename that side length C, it will help me with the equation itself. Okay? Does everyone understand why I'm doing that? Yes? Okay, hopefully. Now, I have all this room here, and instead of me having to crouch down and you not being able to see it, I'm just going to move my solution up here. So I have C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cos C. Okay? All I do is plug in the information and let the calculator do it. So C squared is equal to 21 squared plus 27 squared minus 2 times 21 times 27 cos of 31 degrees. Okay? Okay, now I let my calculator do it, okay? I let my calculator do it. I go 21 to the exponent 2 plus 27 to the exponent 2 minus 2 bracket 21 bracket 27 bracket cos 31. And I get 197.972281 or whatever, okay? So I get C squared is equal to 197.972281. Again, you don't need to show this. I'm just showing it. How do I get my final answer, though? What do I need to do? Square root. Thanks, Sean. So I need to take the square root. C equals. So the square root of my answer is, and does it say to the nearest? It says to the nearest millimeter, so it is going to be 14 millimeters. And that is done. 14 millimeters. Okay? Sounds good to everybody? Do you understand how much easier it is if you just relabel your triangle for C to be your unknown? If you always put C to be your unknown side or your unknown angle, it will always be easier because then you're not having to like try to figure out what side length goes into what like blah blah blah. It gets messy. Okay? Okay, next. Okay, all of a sudden, right away, I know it's cosine law. The reason I know it's cosine law is because I have 3 sides. I have 3 sides. Cosine law is the only one that deals with 3 sides. Okay? Now, 3 sides, I know it's set up to solve for angle C. Does everyone agree with that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to label C, A, and B. And based on that, this means that this is C because it's across from C. This is A because it's across from A. And this is B because it's across from B. That's what you were asking? Okay, so Aaron, does this make sense? Aaron, you need to close that. As soon as you're done the lesson, you can play with it. Just close it completely. You shouldn't even have it on your desk. Okay. Aaron, does this make sense what I'm doing here? So nothing was labeled. I know I want to find that, so I labeled it C, okay? Okay, so now, I have cos C. Cos C is equal to A squared plus B squared minus C squared all over 2AB. Okay, now the only thing here is you can let your calculator do it, but what I will argue is calculate the top, write that number in. Calculate the bottom, write that number in, and then do the division. Because a lot of times if you don't do that, you mess up in the order because you don't put a lot of brackets in it, and then it messes up in the calculation, okay? So what I'm saying is I go 1.7 squared plus 2.3 squared minus 2.9 squared all over 2 times 1.7, 2.3. Okay, now what I'm saying is I would calculate the top. So I'm going to do 1.7 to the exponent 2 plus 2.3 to the exponent 2 minus 2.9 to the exponent 2. And you get 0.23 negative. Okay? Okay. That's my top. Now I'm going to calculate my bottom. And my bottom is 7.82. Now I will do the division. Okay, I'll do the division after. The reason it's better to do it this way is there's less room for small mistakes. There's a decimal. And I get a decimal, right, when I do my division, and I want the angle, so I do second function, cos, and then I put my answer in, and I get 92 degrees.
Is that negative? 0.23?
Yes, negative. 92 degrees. Why are you packing up?
Take it off?
So you're not even going to wait for us to be done?
No.
Okay. Is everyone okay with this one? Yeah? So let's do the last one and then you're done. Okay, so in DEF, you have side length D, side length E, and side length F. Draw a diagram. So, so basically here I'm just going to label, Sean, get going, you're distracting. If you're leaving, that's fine, but don't have like a whole conversation as you do it. I am still teaching. See you later, have a nice weekend.
Yeah, you guys too.
Okay, so draw your triangle, label it DEF, and then we're just going to input our side length. So D was 12.2, E was 9.0, and F is 15.5. Now I can see right away that my triangle sort of sucks, right? but it's the best you wouldn't need to at this point erase it and redo it, okay? I get the idea, you're fine. So now it's actually asking us to determine the measure of F. So F is here. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm going to label this C then, and this A, and this B. And the reason, again, I labeled those is just so I can easily use the equation, okay? The only reason I labeled them that is so I can easily use the equation. Okay, so I have cos C is equal to A squared plus B squared minus C squared all over 2AB. So I have 12.2 squared plus 9.0 squared minus 15.5 squared all over 2 times 12.2 times 9.0. Again, I'm going to calculate the top and then the bottom, okay? So 12.2 612 plus 9.0 612 minus 15.5 612 gives you negative 10.41 over 219.6. Okay, so now I'm going to get my division, and Courtney says it's 93 degrees. So I get my division, it would be a decimal, then I do second function cos to get the angle. So I'll just check, but I'm pretty, has anyone else done it other than Courtney?
Okay.
It's good? Yep, awesome. Okay. Good. So now, the only thing I also want to mention